Hello, did y'all know there was a fan up there? Yeah, there was a fan up there. I think my little radio's okay. So, this is Rachel. Hi, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Rachel Gets Creative. And today we're going to make mushrooms out of clay. This is actually part of a bigger video which will come out hopefully the first weekend in May of a very fancy fairy door. Yes, a very fancy fairy door. But I'm going to do this little video just of the mushrooms to go into more detail. I call them witchy hat mushrooms because they look like little witchy hats. Oh my God. Because they look like little witchy hats. Yeah, we had another disaster. He's going to walk right back in a little bit.
No, he's not.
Okay. Yes, he is. Okay. So, witchy hat mushrooms. This is a partial, obviously. This is a partial. I love this one. Look at this. It looks like little feet dancing. I'm an elf. I don't know. Okay. So, anyways, these are partials, and I am going to show you how to make one beginning, or some, beginning to end. And they're going to be awesome. And so, let's get going. Okay, great. So, I'm going to be working with Super Sculpey polymer clay today. This kind is called Living Doll. Normally, I would work with Super Sculpey Original. I think it's actually kind of a little softer. But I already have this, and I'm not a craft millionaire, so I'm not going to go buying more clay when I already have clay. But you do have to soften it up. My first step is sort of pinching off these little bits and warming them up and squishing them and squishing them. And the best invention ever, see the difference, is this. The Clay Torturer 1000. Check this out. Ha 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 ha. So I am using a whole piece of clay here because the mushrooms I'm making are pretty small. If you're making something much larger, you don't want to waste this clay. So you probably have a core, a mushroom shaped like foil. A foil shaped like a mushroom, and then cover it in clay. But this is what I'm doing. This little pinchy kind of flutters out the bottom like a skirt. And then, oh my gosh, I'm so fast. I'm amazing. Cutting little notches, very regular, trying to kind of make it look natural. And this step is optional. Give it a little texture. There's a lot of mushrooms that are super smooth. Oh, speaking of a lot of mushrooms, I don't think the witchy hat mushroom actually exists, but it exists in fantasy, and I like it. And that's what I'm going to do. So, before I bake this, and you have to bake polymer clay. Oh, I'm sorry, little guy. I put this wire in and I hooked it so that it would not come out. And then I reinforced that with a little bit of liquid clay. Stick it in this little guy. And then I'm going to put that straight onto a cookie sheet and bake it in the oven for 275 degrees Fahrenheit for maybe 30 minutes. You have to read the instructions. Let's talk about circles. Why? There are lots of circles in your house, and they can be used to size clay for the bottom of your mushroom. Flawless curls. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. We're going to do those cool looking gills on the bottom of a mushroom. And now that the top is hard, it's going to be a lot easier to do that. Regarding stems, mushroom stems, I'm not going to go into a great amount of detail on how to do it with polymer clay. Basically, you can twist the wires together, bulk them up with aluminum foil or aluminium foil if you prefer. Use a little Bake Bond liquid clay and apply more clay and then bake as normal. So that is definitely fine to do, and the thicker the better, because if they are thin, you can just crack them. They're very fragile. See, just look at that poor thing. Look at that poor thing. So what I'm going to use to be stronger for a long, skinny stem is epoxy sculpt. Okay, epoxy sculpt is not supposed to be this crumbly. I don't know what's going on with my clay.
Vengeance is ours! Blood makes grass grow! Hakuna Matata!
So as I said, epoxy sculpt is really not supposed to be that crumbly when you mix it. It's actually very sticky for 30 minutes or so. Sometimes it's good to let it set for a while. So what I did a little troubleshooting, and I kneaded it for 3 minutes instead of 2, let it sit around for maybe another 15-20 minutes, and it became sort of workable. Not sure what's up with my batch, but it worked out in the end. So a little tip when wanting to add dots to mushrooms or anything. Actually, a point doesn't work as well as a circle or a ball. This is a little ball tool. I think some people actually call them dotters. And you just kind of do that. That's all there is to it. Okay, I'm back. First of all, wet palette. Very handy. I had covered it in foil. I've been gone visiting my mom for over 24 hours and still wet. Boop, that's not the best color. Just imagine this is a tree, brown and not poop brown. Okay, I said it. Wet palette, very handy. And I'm going to put a link in the description for the lady I followed. Basically, you just get, like, I think it's called a cellulose sponge, a flat sponge. You wet it. I have this special paper I got from an art supply store, but you can also use parchment paper. And the idea is just to keep a wet environment covered up with foil. My kit's meowing, say, let me in. Because acrylics dry so fast, and in order to get this awesome gradient I wanted to get on these mushrooms, sort of darker to lighter, you see? That doesn't help. I just needed to blend wet into wet, and that's what I did. But now, let me let that kitty in just a second. Now it is time for the experimental phase of these mushrooms. I bought, it looks like nail polish, but it's UV resin. I mean, it probably is for nail polish, but I bought it at the craft store at Michael's. And what you do is you put that on. That's gonna get on the mushroom, and then you're gonna use the power of ultraviolet light. Just a second. Ultraviolet light. In order to harden that resin and hopefully leave a nice glossy finish. Alternatively, if you don't have these tools, you can coat your mushroom. You can coat your mushroom with glossy Mod Podge or matte Mod Podge. I think, in fact, I'm going to use matte on the bottom and the stem, but super glossy resin on the top, and they will be shiny forest mushrooms. Then I will take some pretty pictures, and you're going to see those real soon. But first, we're going to do this experiment. I hope it doesn't fail. Don't fail. Don't fail. We're ready to go. This UV resin takes 3 to 6 minutes to harden under ultraviolet light. That was actually a lot of time when you multiply several mushrooms by several sides of mushrooms. So I think a shiny gloss coat like a Mod Podge would work just as well. But it was a fun experiment. So now the reveal. The mushrooms are telling me that I would love for you to subscribe and see my content and what I have coming up. And then also, if you like the video, hit that little like button. And if you want to comment, that would be great. I love comments. I answer every one of them. So, mushrooms have spoken. And I just want to say thank you, and I hope you have a great day, and take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Okay.
Vengeance is ours! Blood mixed grass grows!